I have to say, all the different buildings are so fresh.
Michael's probably on the back of it, is it?
Driving the floor.
Yeah. He should have put his captain's hat on. He got one at home. He used to drive his folding
We might have to get on that side.
Yeah, people get off.
It might be in on, I don't know.
Woodside Terminal is the home of Woodside Company, which also
Life is good when you're there, you know.
I'll hold on to my hat.
Right, that's going to be your home, is it?
I think this is what keeps
A flash on.
Flash is on.
Oh. There's Chris. Yay.
that face coverings must be worn at all times and in all areas whilst on the Mersey Ferry, link-span passenger bridges and terminal. Please respect social distancing during the cruise, and we ask you to pay attention to the emergency procedure notices called low water. You may have difficulty if you have reduced mobility, so please ask for help if required and take care. Photography and filming may take place during this cruise and may be used for the purpose of promoting Mersey ferries online.
And this is the spot where the monks would begin the mile-long journey across to Liverpool.
On the other side of the slipway are the dry docks and slipways of Camel Laird, famous for building many great ships, such as the Ark Royal, the Second Mauritania, and even some of the Mersey ferries.
How long did this journey take?
The first ship built was launched in 1829, and over 1,300 ships have been built here. The construction hall that you can see is one of the largest in Europe, and in recent years has seen a number of major fabrication projects, including the building of the flight decks for the new HMS Queen Elizabeth aircraft carrier ship at an estimated cost of £200 million. In 2015, Camel Laird won the construction contract, and it was the largest commercial shipbuilding project in the country in 30 years. Commissioned by the Natural Environment Research Council and operated by British Antarctic Survey, the new polar ship, the RRS Sir David Attenborough, will transform UK research in the polar regions, providing scientists with state-of-the-art facilities to research the oceans, seafloor, ice and atmosphere. Its missions are critical for understanding and making sense of our changing climate.
The Great Eastern, designed by Isambard Kingdom Brunel, and one of the biggest ships ever to be built. She carried over 3,000 passengers in luxury, as well as 6,000 tons of cargo. She had an amazing history. She laid the first Atlantic telephone cable, killed her first captain, and had 4 mutinies. She had 5 funnels, and her 6 masts were named after the days of the week, Monday to Saturday. The 4th mast, Thursday, became the flagpole of Liverpool Football Club at Anfield. Even as she was being broken up, she held a surprise. The skeleton of a worker was found who must have been trapped in her hull when she was being built. The long piers with the big gantry cranes on the river are part of the Tranmere oil terminal, which can handle tankers weighing up to 300,000 tons. More than 10 million tonnes of oil are discharged here every year and then pumped 10 miles upriver to the oil refinery at Stanlow, the second largest refinery in England. We are now off Rock Ferry, which from the early 1820s became a popular residential area for Liverpool businessmen who took advantage of the ferry services to move home to the Wirral. Many made their homes in the newly built prestigious houses in the privately owned Rock Park fronting the river. As the century progressed, an esplanade was built linking Rock Ferry to New Ferry, and the area developed into a day tripper resort. The American novelist and short story writer Nathaniel Hawthorne lived at Rock Park for 4 years during the 1850s whilst working as the American consul in Liverpool. An extract from his diary reads, "At Rock Ferry there was a great throng forming a scene not unlike the 4th of July. There were bands with music and banners and a small procession after them, and a school of charity children enjoying the festival. And there was a club of respectable persons playing at bowls on the bowling green of the hotel, and there were children and infants riding on donkeys at a penny a ride." The hotel to which Hawthorne refers was the Royal Rock, a popular destination for ferry passengers who took a trip to Rock Ferry to enjoy a drink, a game of bowls, or a walk on the esplanade. In the late 1930s, a layer of mud began to wash over the sandy beach, and in 1939 the ferry service was discontinued. The area gradually deteriorated, and the old pier was replaced by a jetty connected with Tranmere Oil Terminal, parts of which can still be seen. Eventually, the Royal Rock Hotel was demolished.
Further ahead, the large green area is Port Sunlight River Park, opened in 2014 and built on a former landfill site. Its many footpaths meander through wildflower meadows and trees, and there are stunning views over to Liverpool. Even further upriver are the eastern locks into the Manchester Ship Canal.
Manchester, a city that was at the centre of the North's Industrial Revolution, was provided with a vital passage to the rest of the world when the canal was opened in 1894. It carried imports of raw cotton to the heart of the Lancashire cotton industry, some 35 miles away. By 1955, the canal was carrying over 18 million tonnes of goods every year.
Amongst the many ships that use the canal now are the Mersey ferries, operating day trips from Liverpool and Wirral to the historic Latchford locks and back. The cruise gives passengers the opportunity to experience a round trip in the same day. Cruises operate on selected dates during the summer months. The built National Museum in the UK for over 100 years. The story of Liverpool is told through displays, drawn from exhibits related to the city from National Museum Liverpool's entire collection. Visitors can explore how the port, its people, and their creative and sporting history have shaped the city. The red sandstone Anglican Cathedral, designed by Sir Giles Gilbert Scott when he was only 23, took 74 years to build and is the largest Anglican cathedral in the world. To the left, the delicate spires of the Metropolitan Catholic Cathedral of Christ the King top an enormous and beautiful stained glass lantern, which during the day projects a vivid display of light radiating throughout its interior.
On the river, ships are guided by the red and green buoys which mark the deep water channel. These buoys follow the international maritime system. Red is kept on the left or port, and green on the right or starboard. Unlike British car drivers, ships navigate on the right. The black and yellow buoy warns against the Pluckington sandbank, which stretches right below the water as far as Pierhead landing stage. Sandbanks, strong currents and fog all plague the Mersey and make it a very treacherous river. The Liverpool South docks stretching in front of us are no longer used as commercial docks, but were once a forest of masts filled with ships from all corners of the world, including those of the Elder Dempster line, known as the monkey boats because they carried monkeys instead of ship's cats. As we proceed across the river back to Liverpool, the stunning vista of the waterfront takes your breath away. Liverpool's bid for World Heritage status was approved by UNESCO in July
I can't see a thing.
2004.
Hang on.
The
I
bid
can't
was
see a
based on
thing.
Liverpool as a marine mercantile
Yeah,
city and reflected the city's significance as a commercial
if I could,
port at the time
get
of
us
Britain's greatest
Get
global
us in the
influence.
background. Yay.
The site includes
Liverpool.
the pier head with its world-renowned buildings and historic docks such as Stanley Dock, Wapping and Waterloo. The award puts the city in the same league as the Taj Mahal and the Great Wall of China, and we now attract thousands more tourists to the city, within which beats a heart alive with musicians, poets, writers, artists, painters, sculptors, designers and architects.
Liverpool is continuing to have a thrilling renaissance and was European Capital of Culture for 2008.
It also reflects the dramatic transformation in the River Mersey itself. It has recovered from being one of the most polluted rivers in Europe in the 1980s to become a haven for fish and wildlife and a focus for regeneration along the waterfront. Liverpool is synonymous with popular culture, especially music, sport and the arts. It's home to 5 theatres, including the Liverpool Playhouse, Britain's oldest repertory theatre. It is also the home of Aintree Racecourse, famous for the world's greatest steeplechase, the Grand National. And in recent years, the city has become popular with film companies looking for dramatic buildings and locations. Not surprising, because Liverpool contains more than 2,500 listed buildings, more than any city apart from London. It has more public sculpture than any UK city aside from Westminster, and it has more Georgian buildings than Bath.
Chris. I want the best on it, so you know it.
The arena and conference centre. It accommodates events from rock and pop concerts to ice shows and international sporting events.
To the left of the arena is the Albert Dock, the largest set of Grade 1 listed buildings in Britain. In 2018, it was granted the prestigious title Royal Albert Dock, in recognition of the pivotal role that it played in starting a resurgence of interest in Liverpool's wonderful architecture. Threatened with demolition for years, it was restored in the 1980s, and the Royal Albert Dock has become one of the country's favourite tourist attractions. The large white and glass construction that you can see behind and to the left of the Albert Dock is one side of Liverpool One, an innovative £950 million urban regeneration project that has transformed the heart of Liverpool city centre. This development, covering 42 acres and utilising the existing Liverpool streets, is home to the very best retail brands, residential and leisure facilities. To the left are the beautiful buildings known as the Three Graces, which together form one of the most majestic and famous waterfronts in the world. On the right of these is the Port of Liverpool building, with its impressive copper dome. Opened in 1908, the design came from a rejected competition entry for the Anglican Cathedral. In the middle stands the Cunard building. Built in 1914, the building was designed in the style of a 16th century Italian palace, and was once the offices of the famous shipping line owned by Samuel Cunard, who operated the first regular transatlantic lines between Liverpool and New York in 1840. Other famous shipping companies followed, such as the White Star Line, owner of the Titanic, and the Blue Star Line. Their magnificent liners berthed along the famous Prince's Landing Stage, which was for many years the longest floating landing stage in the world. It was from here that over 9 million emigrants passed through Liverpool between 1830 and 1890, on their way to a new life in America.
Finally, the beautiful Liver Building, erected by the Royal Liver Friendly Society in 1911, is perhaps Liverpool's best-known landmark. Based on a Chicago waterfront skyscraper, the building is topped by the famous liver birds, which stand nearly 6 meters high. They're said to be based on an eagle, which was the original seal of King John. However, when the seal was lost in the 18th century, the artist commissioned to design the new seal misinterpreted the eagle as a cormorant, hence their rather unusual appearance. Some say that the female lifebird faces the river waiting for the sailors to come ashore, while the male is looking inland to see if the plugs are open. They have never mated, so there are no other liverbirds in the world, and tradition has it that if they ever fly away, Liverpool will cease to exist.
Here at Pier Head, we are in front of Mersey Ferry's terminal building. Inside, you'll find the Beatles Story Fab 4 Cafe and Fab 4 store on the ground floor, and the Pan-Asian restaurant Matu on the top floor. The Beatles Story is located just a short walk away in the Royal Albert Dock. The award-winning attraction takes visitors on an immersive journey through the lives, times, culture and music of the Beatles, and contains an impressive collection of fascinating memorabilia. For more information and to buy tickets in advance, please visit the Beatles Story website. We hope you have enjoyed your cruise and look forward to welcoming you aboard again soon. Tell us about your day and share your pictures with us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram by searching and following @Mersey Ferries.
I prefer the Frankie Go to Hollywood version.
Oh, don't say that.
Well, I were my favourite group.
Magnificent version of that belt, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm DJ'd in there.
Where?
We've got a function room underneath.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to Liverpool.
Closer. Hey, we are the boat, we are the boat, we are the boat.
Ready?
Right, hey.
How are we doing? Fine. 1 o'clock. After 1.
Is it Anfield next to it?
We won.
Okay.
For yourself. Well, let's get some dinner first.
Cool. Get some cold liquid donuts as well.
Eh?
Get some cold liquid donuts as well.
Well, got Maggie's or something
Yeah.
if you want.
I'll end this video now. And that was our ferry across the Mersey.